If you're making less on Facebook than you were before, don't worry, it's not just you. A lot of people over the past 6 to 8 months have been making less from Facebook. There's a lot of questions as to why it's happened. People are seeing stuff like 40% pay cuts, sometimes even more. Everyone has their own stories with it. But with that said, I did find an interesting interview today on a website called Who Do You Know? I think the interviewer here is Jake Bell, and then the head of Facebook is Tom Allison. What are the main incentives for creators to publish their content exclusively on Facebook? Will there be a push to incentivize for native content? What's really unique to Facebook is that creators can earn money from all the different content formats. Our ads on Reels, in-stream ads, and the performance bonus programs pay creators for long-form videos, Reels, photos, and even text that they share on Facebook. This is true. This makes it possible for creators of all sizes and experience levels to earn money, not just the ones who can garner big brand deals or have the means to produce high-production long videos. These programs are all designed to reward creators who make authentic, original, and engaging content for their Facebook community. This answer I wasn't super happy with. It's not completely false. There are multiple different ways to make money. Ads on Reels, in-stream ads, and the performance bonus are all ways to make money. For one, though, ads on Reels and performance bonus, there's no actual qualification/eligibility criteria that we're aware of right now. Some of our pages have massive followings and don't have access to ads on Reels and performance bonus, but have access to in-stream ads because there is a criteria for that. It is way too opaque. There is not enough transparency there. And I don't like that they haven't acknowledged this. But let's continue. With that said, though, I was looking at Reddit recently. I was looking at Reddit because, let's see if I can make this a bit bigger for us. I was looking at Reddit because it's so difficult to find anyone talking about Facebook monetization. That's why I'm making this video, is so that I can sort of just share my thoughts and stuff, and hopefully you can share your thoughts too. But someone who seems like they know what they're talking about, because the things that they're saying are things that I understand at least, says that they manage several large pages on Facebook and own a company that specializes in Facebook monetization. While it's true that mass appeal, long-form content does really well, Reels pay almost nothing. That has changed. Before Reels paid a lot. That was with the Reels engagement or Reels bonus or whatever it was called. It was like the beta testing for Reels, where I think you made up to like $35,000 per month if you were in the US, which I'm not, so that was nice. We had several last months go viral, and I want to say our Reels revenue was something like $700 amongst all channels. Meanwhile, one channel ranges between 30k and 80k a month in long-form revenue, so from in-stream ads that would be. Last year they were paying bonuses on Reels, and if you had a big channel, it was pretty easy to max out the bonus to 35k a month. That was the easiest money ever. I've seen that from friends' screenshots. Again, from the UK, wasn't available to me. Now it's next to nothing. If you want to monetize on Facebook, generalized content with mass appeal and long-form versions of said content is where it's at. Comedy, video, pranks, police chases, etc. Niches don't do nearly as well. And I think they're saying niches don't do nearly as well because niches are going to have a limit to how many millions of views you can get. So I replied, and this was done 8 months ago. I replied saying, 8 months later, still find this post interesting. May I ask, have you seen a difference that you'd be comfortable sharing since the move from the ad revenue share to the performance-based payouts, which essentially means that at one point for like the longest time, and since like 2017 it was, I think, or 2018, where Facebook was starting to pay content creators like myself a percentage of the revenue that advertisers paid when they were on our videos. But they've changed it from the ad revenue share model to the performance-based payouts, where you basically just get paid a very opaque number for how many people engage or watch your video. I feel like I've noticed fewer mid-rolls on the watch feed at large. Most creators I've seen have had 40 to 50% haircuts in terms of payouts. Some is from them paying less, some is from reach being down across the board. Facebook got a strong stranglehold with Reels and quickly learned that they could pay very little for the content. In hindsight, I suppose it was inevitable that once they learned they could eliminate transparency and pay less, they would do that. And that's actually a sentiment that I've heard across a fair number of creators. But I kind of have some pushback to this. I said, right, thank you for replying. The 40% roughly cut is consistent from what I've seen. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. The problem I see is I don't think Meta can actually ruin the creator incentives and expect creators to prioritize the platform over YouTube and TikTok or whichever other competitor comes up next. Seeing as they are generally paying at least a $1 RPM for Western audiences. For those of you who aren't understanding RPMs and so on, that's fine. A $1 RPM would essentially mean that if you get 1 million views on a video, 1 RPM, you should be being paid around $1,000 for those 1 million views. They're primarily in the ads business. This is important, and they're spending big on R&D. If they lose their content/publishers, I don't see what they have left. What do you think? I wrote this 12 hours ago, so he hasn't replied yet, but maybe we'll have another video for when he replies. But either way, my main thing here is that, a lot of people are suggesting that Facebook just don't want to pay creators. And I have no affiliation or even real affinity for Facebook. I've just made money, a good amount from it. But my thing is that I don't want to just look at this as big corporation bad. Because whilst there are elements of that, whatever, from a practical standpoint, I don't see Facebook actually wanting to pay creators less. And the reason being is, many people would say, oh yeah, they want to pocket the money for themselves. But, if we look at the history of social platforms, and mainly I'm talking about like YouTube and TikTok here, Instagram falls short massively for this. But YouTube and TikTok, specifically TikTok, has recently obviously started their creative fund, their creativity program. It was the creative fund, then it transitioned. With YouTube, they are like top notch at this. They do really well at paying creators a fair amount, contrary to mass belief. YouTube is really good for this. It's very sustainable in many ways and so on. So Facebook is in the advertising business. That's their core product, right? They have their long-term bets like the metaverse, R&D in different areas, the Ray-Ban stuff and whatever else. And that stuff isn't paying off yet, especially the metaverse, which I have those of you who know, I'm bullish, but I don't believe that they can afford to right now lose their publishers and their creators, because their creators and the publishers are the ones who bring all the attention to the platform. And we know this because Facebook has been, over the years now, recommending people recommended content versus personal content. A lot of people have been complaining over the years that they don't see stuff from their friends anymore. And that's because Facebook knows that you're actually more likely to stay on the platform if you're watching a video than versus if you're reading updates from your aunt or your friends or whatever else it might be. So long story short, I personally do believe that Facebook has got incentive to pay its creators, which makes me wonder what happens next. One thing I have noticed though is that my payout has decreased, and I have a feeling that it also has to do with the way that we're paid, in that I used to be posting 3-minute videos. 3-minute videos would end up with a mid-roll ad at 1 minute into the video. Now, that would pay relatively well. I'd probably be paid like $1,000 for 1 million views, maybe $1,200, sometimes $1,500, so over a 1 RPM. But now it seems that 100,000 views will pay sometimes as low as $30 on a long form video, not on a reel, with in-stream ads. And I wonder if part of this is because I don't think Facebook is serving mid-roll ads anymore. I think we're seeing banner ads at the bottom. So if you scroll through Facebook Watch, you will see that, or this is what I saw at least, that there will be banner ads, which is like an image advert below a video, and that will pop up around 30 seconds to a minute into the video. But years ago, I don't know when it changed, there used to be a icon that said an ad will play soon, and that was placed around 55 seconds into the video, and then it would play an actual video advert. Now, from an advertising perspective, you're going to be paying more, you're going to be paying more for a video to be placed in a video, and a video advert to be placed in a video, than you'll be paying for a banner advert. That's just pure advertising standards, which overall tells me that we're being paid less partially because it feels like Facebook must be making less from the videos that we're posting. It's hard to tell, but I just fully don't believe that Facebook is trying to pay creators less. My feeling is Facebook is actually figuring out how to monetize in the best way. And they're just being really not transparent about it, which isn't good. What would I say from here? Well, my personal strategy, and I think others who I've spoken with too, who are running businesses around this, the best thing you can always do is just be as popular as possible on the platforms, being Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, etc. Because you never know when they're going to start paying again. Meaning they may, for example, we have the performance bonus now. The performance bonus used to be paying people tens of thousands of dollars a month. And now those same people are being paid thousands or even hundreds of dollars a month. So the pay cut has been real. But Instagram, for example, now and then has some sort of performance bonus that comes out of the blue, sort of. And you never know basically when the platforms are going to start paying you more for the content than they would usually otherwise. So personally, my perspective is get as many views as you possibly can. And then when they do start churning out new programs that will pay you better, then you can take advantage of them. But obviously that also means posting to other platforms. And that's what I personally do. So having whatever you post to Facebook be repurposed for other platforms, so that even when Facebook isn't paying properly, as I don't think it is right now, that the other platforms that you post to for very similar content, really it shouldn't be taking more than 10 minutes or a short amount of time to repurpose from one platform to the other. At least that way your platform lives on multiple platforms, your content lives on multiple platforms. And TikTok, for example, if you post a 1-minute video that you were going to post to Facebook, if you post that to TikTok, it's likely that you'll probably see like a 1 RPM if you're on a Western audience. So hopefully these things come back in terms of the payouts, but we'll have to see. Facebook is so fickle with all of this. So